Do you need to be frugal in order to achieve financial independence? That is the question I'm going to be answering today. Is frugality the key ingredient that's going to help you achieve financial prosperity? Now, for the most part of my life, I was a very frugal person, often leading a life where I was very meticulous of all the outflows from my account, being very careful and mindful because I knew money was hard to come by. You had to work really hard in order to earn that money, and it was the same for my parents as well as a number of family members in my life. And it often led me to take on that very belief that money is hard to come by, so you be very careful of how you spend that money, and you think carefully before committing to a desired outcome that you wish to fulfill through the use of money. So this was a belief that I think today can be a double-edged sword, and I'm going to explain that. So hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a better idea of whether this belief as well as the state of frugality is a critical ingredient to achieving financial independence. Now, there were a number of influences when it comes to me taking on this belief that I needed to be frugal. There was a YouTuber that I used to follow, and I can't recall his name right now because it's so many years ago that I was following him, and this guy had taken frugality to extreme levels. Now, I thought I was really frugal, and I was quite a minimalist at the time as well. I often believed in being a minimalist, often pushing it so far that you tend to start to deprive yourself, and your quality of life is not the same as what you would wish it to be, because I always postponed a lot of what I wanted in life, saying no, I needed to reach that goal, and when I reach that goal then I'll be able to get what I want to, or to be able to uplift my lifestyle. But this guy that I was following, he was so frugal, he put me to shame too, because he took frugality to the next level. But the thing about this guy is he was already wealthy. He was already a person who didn't need to work. He was in his 30s and he was already financially independent, retired early. And I thought, wow, look at this guy. He has already achieved it, so surely he must be doing something right. And he was out there on YouTube influencing other people to take on this frugality lifestyle in order to really start to accumulate wealth. And he had built up quite a sizable portfolio, and he had so frugal habits where he was even making use of the lint from his dryer and using that as his fire starter. Nothing was put to waste. This guy never bought much. He always made these videos about how frugal he was in terms of even updating things. He probably used clothes well beyond their useful life. So this guy pushed things really to the extreme, and that is what led me to also fortify that belief that you need to be frugal in order to achieve the state of wealth. Now, I want to explain to you whether this is really needed. So as I mentioned, for a large part of my life I was very frugal, and I was accounting for every little nitty-gritty expense out of my account, being so meticulous. And the thing with frugality is that you can often see the results. You can see the results. The more frugal you are, the more careful you are about managing your expenses. You can see your bank balance grow. You can see your progress that you're making towards the goal. And it often leads you to take on the belief that yes, it's working. This is the way you need to be. You need to be very meticulous. You need to be very careful about how you're spending. However, frugality is something that, yes, it gives you that false impression that you're making your progress towards these goals. However, there's always these one-off events that come about that wipe you out and take you back from your goals. And the problem with a lot of these once-off events is a lot of times they're out of your control. It can be a health condition that you're going through. It can be something that is so totally out. Maybe it's an investment that you made that was relatively safe at the time that all of a sudden experiences some sort of anomalous event that wipes out a huge portion of it. So there's always something that happens to sabotage it. And these one-off events, they're not something that you can foresee. And even though you plan for it, but yet they still, even if you're diversifying, they still do set you back. And the problem is, with a frugal mindset, is you tend to deprive yourself. Like I was depriving myself of so many of life's joys because I didn't want to spend. I wanted to make more progress. I wanted to run faster towards that goal that I wanted to achieve. And the problem with this frugal mindset is that it's vested within scarcity. And what do I mean by this? This is the most important part of this video, so I hope you're listening to this part of the video, because this is one of the core reasons why frugality fails. When it's vested in scarcity, if you are frugal because you think money is scarce. I had the underlying belief that money is hard to come by. This very belief was saturated in scarcity. I couldn't open up new income streams. I was limited to the income that I was already receiving. I was trying to be frugal to try and conserve as much as possible. However, all of these behaviors were vested in scarcity. I started to become very selfish at the same time, and I don't admire the traits that I had. Actually, I feel very bad about those traits, but I forgive myself now because I'm learning that forgiveness is important as part of this process. So if you're someone that finds yourself in that same position and you know that you are very selfish or frugal, and maybe you behaved in such a way that you would not today do the same things because you realize that it was not something that is in alignment with your underlying core values. It was because of matrix programming that programs the scarcity within us. And if you're someone that's also finding that it's very hard to overcome that belief, have compassion to yourself. I'm still struggling to navigate through it. I still notice those habits or behavior patterns that come up wherever I come up to that situation where I tend to pull back and try and conserve as much as possible, and sometimes I even compromise my own kindness and my own compassion because I don't want to spend, but I'm becoming more aware of it. And that's the key here, is to try and become more aware of these sabotaging behaviors, because they are all vested within the scarcity mindset, and it's these behaviors that are keeping us within the scarcity framework. And that is why you notice some people who embody frugality, they succeed because their underlying intentions and beliefs is not vested in scarcity, and for them it works. And that is why I said it can be a double-edged sword. For some people it may work well for them. They may be able to use it effectively in order to conserve that energy and spend the money on what they really want. And for others, it's vested in scarcity, so it tends to hurt us more. And that is why it's something that I think we need to be very mindful of when it comes to frugality, is to really pay attention. What are those core underlying beliefs that we are holding on to? Is it something that is vested in scarcity? Because if it is, we need to start shifting out of that behavior and to really start to embody the abundance mindset. Now, abundance mindset is also not at the same time go out and spend like crazy, because that would not be respecting the energy of money. And it's about realizing that money is a form of energy, and we need to respect the energy that is coming to us in the form of money, and in terms of how we manage it and how we spend it. Now, I recognize that money is inflating away and governments are doing all sorts of manipulation. I know about all that. I'm not denying any of that. However, I'm saying we need to start to shift our own beliefs about money. Let's not get entangled into the inflation, because sometimes when you get so caught up within this inflation mindset, you tend to want to spend now and get immediate gratification. And it tends to lead to excessiveness in terms of your spending behavior, because you think, oh man, everything's going to cost so much more in the future. Why do I want to pay $10,000 in the future when I can pay $1,000 now? And that is kind of mindset that we have. But however, we need to understand what are the beliefs that are underlying that. Because once we take on this belief that money is something that is corrupted or money is evil, it starts to sabotage our financial independence. It's our own relationship to money. Maybe it's you trying to shift your investments to try and really look at money as a means of being able to invest it in a medium that you consider to be more credible. So maybe you like investing in real estate, for example. So you're investing in something that you believe has the integrity or preserves the integrity of what money is. And it's shifting beliefs. That's all that this video is really about, is to really start shifting your beliefs, start to become more conscious of the underlying beliefs behind even the subconscious actions that you have. So if you have subconscious actions, meaning you go to a restaurant and maybe you don't want to tip the waiter because you're thinking, well, I don't have enough, or you're starting to take on this mindset that, oh, the tip rate is so high, and we get into that sort of mindset. Understand what is the beliefs that are underlying that. Is it because I feel, oh, money is so scarce, I don't have enough, that is why I can't tip? Or do you have it because you're saying, okay, I'm looking at what is a reasonable percentage and you're considering the service that you receive? So start to become very mindful about those underlying beliefs, because it can be different. There may be valid reasons why you don't want to give a tip, or there may be reasons why you should give a tip. However, your mind is sabotaging you with these beliefs, and that is why you don't want to give a tip. So it's all these things. Start becoming more and more consciously aware of these beliefs and start to shift away from this. So in conclusion, I would say frugality can be something that is depriving you of your financial independence goals, or it can also be something that can help you facilitate the achievement of your financial goals. It's all about becoming mindful of what are those underlying beliefs. And once you become mindful of those underlying beliefs, I'm sure you'll overcome. If any of this content resonates with you, please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And with that, I'll see you in my next video.